Hello viewers, today for cleaning and servicing we have a Sanyo osculating fan. It's a 3-speed model, 12 inches in size. It's very, very dirty. It's going to take some time to get this cleaned up. The information's tag is down there. It is the model EF-12SP electric fan made in Japan, so it probably still works, and it's likely overall a very good quality. I have heard good things about these fans, these Japanese made Sanyo fans, and I've been told that they're very good, so we'll see. I don't recall if this works or not. I think it worked not very well. Actually, it's kind of working okay. The balance is really good too. Impressive. Well, the balance is perfectly fine, and it seems to be running okay as well. Bearings are pretty free, so I guess most of the issue here is cosmetic. I have suspicions that this is a relatively low hours unit. It's absolutely disgusting, but I don't think it was used that often. I think it's sat in the garage for quite some time, likely unused. It had a little cover thing over it when I found it, but I don't know where I put it. It doesn't seem like it really did all that much. I think it might have only been on the guard. Anyways, let's go ahead and open this up. Got the metal clips, which are quite substantial. A little bit of rust in there, but nothing too major. This is plastic and it's lost some of its luster, but that's typical. Kind of an unusual design. Threads into the shaft rather than the shaft threading into it. And this is definitely a bit stuck here. Yeah, it is very stuck actually. So we're going to have to get the pullers out and get it off that way. Hopefully this is not an indication of how this project is going to go. Although after that stupid Lakewood fan, I think I could probably fix just about anything as far as oscillating table fans are concerned after going through that. That was awful. Okay, let's see what we have here. Hopefully I can get this on. It's not too bad. I've seen people use slide hammers for this before. It doesn't sit too good with me. I'd be worried about the plastic cracking. I really wouldn't use a slide hammer on much anything other than metal, but that's just me. I mean, there's certainly more than one way to do this. This is the way I typically like to do it because it's very controlled. It's not coming off as nicely as I'd like it to. This is making me very nervous. Oh, I don't like this at all. This is making me very, very nervous. My tool is falling apart now. Come on, tools, get it together. This is no time to fall apart. This is important. The blade is at stake here. Take this seriously. This thing is not really budging much at all. I mean, it is coming, but I have so much force on here, I can't believe the plastic hasn't cracked yet. Okay, now we have a second problem. The second problem is that I went a little bit too far, and now the puller is stuck inside the blade. Well, we are definitely starting to follow down the path of the Lakewood oscillating table fiends, and that is not good. Oh gosh. I'm not really sure how to do this now. This is really bad. This is really bad. Not good. Oh, not good at all. This is bad. Oh man. I wonder if that's why it wasn't working the entire time, because it was... Not good, not good. I may have to use the, to grab it from Lily. Well, this is interesting. Not in a good way. It's not threading because the part that's in there doesn't have threads on it, but I'm thinking maybe if I can just turn it a little bit and pull it at the same time, it's starting to come real slow. Let's move that about maybe a millimeter or so. It's definitely stuck to the shaft still. Well, it's moved about 1/8 of an inch now, so it's coming. So it's going to take some time, I guess. Okay, it's out, and it did, in fact, it did push it off the shaft a fair bit, but not nearly enough. And now the problem is with this design, I don't want to just stick something in there because it'll damage the threads. So, even though I'm not really, I don't think it's really a good idea, I'm going to try the slide hammer. See if that does it. I don't think it will. I think it's on here way too hard for this to work. But give it a shot here. Let's see if I have a bit that's small enough for this. I don't know if I do or not. Let's see. It might take a minute to get this thing set up here. This is the only one that's going to work in any capacity, so try this. I'm really a little nervous about doing this too, but we're running out of options. It's kind of an annoyance too, because it's like all this and it works, you know, but it's so filthy. It's got to come off for cleaning. It's not quite straight on there. Yes, I know I'm standing in front of the camera. Sometimes I need to in order to get a good angle on the equipment here. I really don't think this is a good idea. But maybe it'll work, who knows. I've had things work before that I would not have expected. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, the plastic just deteriorated. I don't really think that this is going to work. I'd have to put it so tight. I'd have to make it so tight in order to really have a good grip on it. I don't think I'm comfortable doing that. However, if I spread this out enough, I could probably use this little mechanism here to exert the force in conjunction with a puller and get it off. That's what I may have to do. That was already expanded quite a bit. I don't want to expand it any more than that. I'm just not willing to do so. You know, it's difficult when you're working with plastic because the constraints of plastic are quite limited. You know, when it's metal, no big deal. But plastic is an issue. Okay, so this is opened up far enough that it'll sit on the outside of the shaft. And I'm confident that that won't do any kind of damage to the, I can feel it sitting on there flat. This won't do any kind of damage to the threads on the inside. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to get out the bigger puller. I think I may need the full-size one for this, which is kind of ridiculous. But get this full-size one out. As long as it fits in between the blades. I think that it will. It's going to be very tight. Let's see if it'll fit. Oh, just barely. Almost out of threads here. I can't help but wonder as I do this, who else goes through this just to clean a stinking table fan? I guess this is why people just throw the stuff out, because they don't, no one knows how to do this. Okay, it is pulling forward, and it pulled forward quite a bit, but now I'm out of slack. Well, now that it's moved a fair bit, I'm going to try again with the SWAT hammer. You can see it's moved forward probably a good 1/4 inch or more now. That's the stopper there. So it is moving. It's just taking a long time and creating a lot of difficulty. I think now that it's pretty much loosened, now I'll be a little bit more comfortable with this, because I don't think we'll be putting too much force on it anymore. Still don't really like this, but I'll do it anyways. If this motor is riveted together, I'm just going to chuck this fan out the window. I can't handle these stupid riveted motors anymore. Nah. Something tells me this whole fan is going to be a nuisance and a half. Just seems like it to me. That's as tight as I'm willing to make it on a plastic situation like this. Nah, this is not going to work. It keeps pulling out. And it's actually, it's quite tight. It may not seem like it, but it's quite tight. And well, I'll show you how tight it is. It's tight enough that this has no chance of entering the shaft. So it is, you know, putting a fair bit of risk on here as it is, but I'm not going any tighter than that. Find some other way to get it off using a puller. You know, slide hammers are great, but I don't think it's a good idea for plastic blade. I've seen people do it, and I've had a couple of people suggest it to me, but nope, I do not agree. Puller only for plastic, as far as I'm concerned. This is just too risky. So what I gotta do is I've got to find something that will fit inside of there, but is a fair bit wider than this. It's kind of like the same size. I guess I'll go with this. I don't really like this, but maybe the best option I have on hand here. I could always retap those threads, I suppose, if need be. That puller's in 12 different pieces anyways. Okay, the blade is off, and it did not break, which is very important. what was the cause of all that trouble? Looks like there's some kind of glue on there. Well, we're gonna sand this shaft down quite a bit. Kind of looks like a Lasco Galaxy motor to me. Just a little bit of thread or something on the shaft. Just cut that off. And now I need to tap that out. Okay, that's out. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to sand the shaft down a lot, because you can't have it be so difficult. The blade needs to be able to slip on and off with ease. And I'm going to sand it down until it does that, so we don't have to keep going through this. Not that I think this fan is going to require service often, but I never want to have to do that again, because you're walking on thin ice doing that. Let's see if just the removal of all that sticky junk was good enough. Nah. It's definitely better. You know, it would go, but let's go a little bit more. There we go. That's good enough. I'll clean out the inside of the blade, and then it should be less sticky, because I can still see that there's junk in there. Okay, that's taken care of. Hopefully it's a little bit more smooth sailing from here out. I certainly had my doubts about that, but let's see what transpires. It's a machine screw. Oh, tell me that don't come off of there. You know, people keep saying, oh, the things just pull right off. Well, they don't. Okay, I should just make this be a silent movie. Well, okay. All those people were right, it just pulls off. Unbelievable. Well, the motor looks like it's in good condition. Windings are still clean and shiny. They seem like they're all pretty tight together, so that's good. That's the way that it should be. I don't see any loose fragments or anything. It looks like a good quality motor. This whole unit really needs to go into the sink. I'm going to try to take the wiring out of the base. Now, okay, I think we got 2 more screws. I definitely don't want to mess with anything inside of there. So, I think what I could probably do is just kind of let that feed up into there with the extra slack. You know, and then I think I'd be comfortable putting it into the sink. You know, like this. You just keep it upright and all the water will run off, and it shouldn't have the opportunity to get into the switch. I think that's what I'm going to have to do, because I don't see how else to really give it a good cleaning in there. I'd like to remove this, but something tells me that there's some kind of ridiculous spring-loaded mechanism in there that I'll never be able to get back together, so I think I'm going to refrain from taking the motor off of the stand. And this may be too much more trouble than it's worth. Okay, so the motor is screwed together, so that's good. I shouldn't have any issues there. And everything else looked fine. Alright, well, let's take this over to the table, and or to the sink rather, and we'll do some cleaning. We made some good progress on the cosmetics. Base is looking much better now. Everything else cleaned up pretty easily too. Oh, tisk, I forgot to clean that cord. I was going to wash the cord off, so I'll have to go back to that afterwards. The buttons, those have to get cleaned up too. That's going to be kind of difficult. I'll have to do those manually. I'm not going to risk getting water in there. It's not worth it. Although, well, I better do it now. I'm getting that dirty again. Let's just see what we can do here without making too much of a mess. Actually, I think that'll be good enough. Yeah, that's fine. Good enough for me. dry some of the little bits of water that got in here out before I close it up. Okay. I guess it had to go the other way. An awful lot of water in this corner. We're going to end up getting a rust or something. That's not good. Okay, that pretty much concludes the cleaning of the base. It's not flawless, but it's a lot better than what it was. And quite frankly, I think it's good enough. You could spend 20 minutes trying to get those little things off to the side. I'm not bothered by it. It's an old fan. It's going to show some age. It is what it is. It's generally very presentable now, so that's as far as I'm concerned. Alright, let's just check everything and make sure it's still running. Should be, but you never know. Seems to be fine. Okay. So, let's go ahead and take this motor apart. Oil everything up. First thing I'll undo is the, is there a reason to undo that? Yeah. I'm going to undo the oscillations arm, which is reverse threaded. Well, that's good. It's got plenty of lubrication on there. And we got, looks like just 3 screws around the motor. Although I'm going to, I guess I'll remove the oscillation gearbox first. And we do not want this piece to go down, because then the little balls come on. It's just a pain in the neck and 3/4 to get that back on. I really don't want that to happen. I feel like it's going to happen. How can we prevent that? I gotta at least try to prevent that. I'm going to take a wire tie and just wrap this around here a little bit. This may not prevent it, but at least I can say I tried to prevent it. Alright, I think that'll, actually that may keep it. Okay. Now, looks like there's plenty of grease in there, so I don't have to worry about that. Now let's open the motor up. Screws, like it's supposed to be, not rivets. And they weren't even overly tightened either. The capacitor looks like, let's see what the microfarads is. Looks like it's 2. Which is pretty standard for these kind of fans. You know what? There is so much grease on that back bearing on the screw there. There's no chance in me pulling that out without getting that oil over the bearing. I wonder if it's better to not open it up just because it's not having an issue. Okay, so it comes right apart. No problem. Yeah, I'm going to refrain from opening it up though. I just don't see a need to at this time. I think some oil put in through the ends of the shaft, and it looks to me like that's the wicking material right there. So we probably could oil the front without taking it off. Yeah, it is. So I can just put oil there and it'll do what it's got to do. For fiends. The blue can is for fiends. On the contrary, you have the red can, the red and black can, which is not for fiends. Could also use zoom spouts, which I'm going to use now. So I'll put a little bit of oil on the shaft itself. And it's going to spill over, I know. That's fine, it'll go into the oil wick. It didn't seem like it was stiff with the blade on there, but it feels like it's kind of stiff now. It's just an alignment issue. No, you know what? It's pretty stiff. I guess I'm going to have to proceed with cleaning it out. And when all that oil gets in the bearing, I'll just have to, or all that grease gets in the bearing, I'll just have to deal with it. See, the problem is all this grease going to slip right into the shaft. I mean, into the bearing. Let's see how much of it I can take off of there and move. Okay, I guess that's not great, but it wasn't too bad either. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. Give it a proper cleaning. Kind of dug myself into a hole here because the oil is not seeping into that wick. So there's a whole bunch of oil just sitting up here now. So not good. Because we'll end up having a liquid spill. Take this apart here and clean it out. Okay. It looked like the stator is connected to the front, and it needs to be connected to the rear because that's where the winding the leads pass through. Now this can be super sketchy here trying to do this. It's not budging. And we can, I guess we can just do it from the back. There's really no reason that we can't. There's more than enough slack here to be able to pull this beyond the length of the shaft. I don't like doing it this way, but we'll do it this way. And then what I can do is I can pull the shaft out like this. Huh, that's kind of odd. Interesting. Okay. So now I'm going to go get a cleaner. Actually, this one's pretty clean. We can use this one. I think there is a thrust washer still dwelling within the thing here. Yeah, there's two of them. The rubber one goes on first, and then the plastic one. Okay. And there'd be another thrust washer back here. No, I guess not. It's pretty clean. The shaft looks pretty clean too. I don't really think that there's all that much to be done here. I don't know why it was so stiff like that. So that, I guess, is the wick right there. We'll add jeez, I should be more careful. I was just smacking the windings with this. That's not good. We'll add some oil on here. It's not seeping in very well. We have to let this sit for a while. Okay, now we'll try and get the front lubricated as well. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because the angle is bad. A lot more wicking material. It's all around the bearing in the front. It's not really seeping in that well up there either. I'll let it sit for a while. I think we're ready to reassemble now. So we'll go ahead and put a little bit of oil on the front of the shaft. And then we'll slip this into place. And we'll do the same on the back. And it's a little bit tricky because you got to be careful to try to avoid getting as much grease as possible onto the inside of the bearing surface. It's pretty much impossible to not get any, but you do the best you can. Inevitably some will get on there, but it is what it is. Can't avoid it entirely. Whoa. I'm going to finish up by just dropping a couple drops of oil down the shaft on both sides. It's a little better, but it still seems kind of stiff. Maybe that's just the way it intrinsically is. Now let's reconnect the osculations. This is kind of confusing because it's an inverted thread screw. So we're going to what would typically be a loosen motion to tighten it. Okay. Put all this stuff back. I'll take my wire tie off, which did work. The thing did not fall through, and those pesky balls did not go flying across the room, never to be seen again. Which is exactly what I was trying to avoid, and it got avoided. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Let's see if we have any alignment issues here. I don't know. It's not great. It seems like it should do better to me, but if it's content running that way, then so be it. Jeez, got junk everywhere here. Alright, let's go get the rest of the components, and we will begin reassembly. Oh, you can put this thing back in there now too. See if we can do a little better with the cord. Yeah, that's not bad. Cleaned up pretty good. Excellent. Blade cleaned up pretty good. Very nice and translucent now. It's like a light brown color. Not really the same as the Galaxy ones. Those are pretty orange. This one is very brown. That's how it should be. Easy to come on and off. Well, I guess the bearings are okay. Alright, looks much better than it did before. The guard still isn't the cleanest thing out there because it doesn't have the shine to it. A little bit of rust and oxidation, but what do you expect for something 40, 50 years old? I'll do a full cycle so just to make sure that it works. Okay, it seems like it's working fine. I'll stop it in the center. Balance is perfect. It's not off at all. Perfect balance. That's quite powerful. And balance is very good. Very, very powerful. And it seems pretty quiet too. Yeah, that's a strong fan. Yeah, I have to say, Japan really knows how to make stuff. I can't think of a single Japanese product that I've used that wasn't good quality. The quality and the engineering of the quality of the manufacturing and the engineering and design in Japan is consistently top of the line. Yeah, this is strong. Very good. Bearings still seem a tad stiff to me, but well, maybe not. Yeah, a little bit. Not enough to be of concern though. So here it is. Cleaned up, and really it looks quite nice. Certainly a lot better than it was.